Hey guys, I want to make a video about my everyday carry. This, even though I say it's my everyday carry, there are still going to be maybe a couple things that you don't quite see, but every day when I come over to the church office, even as I travel back and forth, you know, the little bit that I do, I'm going to show you the things that I use just about every day. So everything you see in here is, I would definitely say, a weekly carry. Every week I'm using the things that you're going to see here. This is the bag that I've used for, a year and a half or so, maybe more. And I use this bag the majority of the time. This is like my mobile office. Everything that I want for my office is here in this bag. And of course, you can get this for the King Trading Company. Here's the back of it. This is getting ready to not be retired, but I'm going to swap this out for the tobacco color in about another week or so, because my travel bag, my roll down bag's in tobacco leather. Most of my stuff's in a similar color leather. So I'm going to be switching my bag soon, but this thing's got another 50, 60 years left in it. I've just now kind of gotten it broke in a little bit. But so this is the bag that I use most days. I do have another briefcase that I use when I'm traveling a little bit more. So if I'm on the road and I want something a little bit lighter, this is a little heavier. If I want something a little bit lighter, I use my other bag. But anyway, this is the one that gets the majority of the use. Let's see what is inside of it. In the back is what they call a magazine pocket. I've got a couple of extra notebooks in here that I don't really use that often, but I still need it because they have some info in it that I need. So you undo the strap, and if I can get a shot kind of inside what this looks like, my everyday use. And I'll show you there's like two things in here that I do not normally carry, but for the sake of this video, I needed to add it. So we'll start in the front pocket. This Bible, I got this designed here for the Bible pocket. Now I preach from, I tell you what, I'm going to move this bag out of frame so I can just pull stuff out. Easier for me to get to it. This is the preacher binder. This is one with pockets, the magazine pockets on the inside. This is what I preach from on Sundays, and I will do if I'm doing a wedding or if I'm preaching a funeral. I use this. I print out my notes, so I manuscript everything, and then I type it and I put it in this notebook. And that's the first thing that I use. This is an A5 size preaching binder. Second is my CSB verse by verse in the Horween Natural Dublin leather. It has a yap on it. This is the second Bible I ever made. I'll show you the first one in a minute. This is the first one I rebound. And I do these very plainly. And again, everything on here really you can find for the King Trading Company. But you can see my logo. I stamped a logo in there. And then other than that, this Bible changes character all the time. Love this Bible. I love the CSB verse by verse Dream Bible, the one Bible that I use all the time. I read from it, study from it, teach from it, etc. CSB verse by verse. Every day I'm using, I don't use this every day. This is definitely every week because I preach and teach from this, but Bible every day. Moving right along. This portfolio, I've had this for about a year and a half as well. And the bag that I'm going to switch to is this leather, tobacco leather. But this is the large portfolio. I use this all the time. I use it every day. Most of the bulk of my notes that I'm writing for sermons, I'm doing it in this because I just need a lot of paper because I'm very messy when I start outlining a sermon. But I keep a folder in here with some info. I normally have some business cards in here. Yeah, I've got some back here. You have a couple of pockets. You've got a pocket here. You have a pocket that expands out. I used to put my tablet in here. You can put a rather large tablet in here. Keep a pen there. So I use this multiple times a week. I use this all the time. This is definitely an all the time use, just like this is just about a daily. I hope that's still in frame. I didn't set this up right. I'll get to this in a minute. I have inside of here, I have my My wallet, this wallet is the Field Notes. So I used to use this one all the time. The Field Notes has the pen holder. I like this wallet, but it takes up every bit of my pocket because of this pen add-on here. So I created this one. And the reason why I don't have a pen loop on this one is because I carry these. I recommend this if you write and you always need a pen on you. This is the Fisher Space Pen. It's a bullet. I got a couple of them. But this pulls out to a full-size pen. You can write a long time with this. I have this one, I have a black one. But when you cap it and put it, it's so small, guys. It's very, very tiny. I don't feel this in my pocket at all. I always have this on me. I always have pens. I have pens in my car, my office, my bedroom, living room, dining room, kitchen. There's pens in my car. I have pens everywhere I go. I always keep a pen on me. Therefore, I guess I'll keep this here so you can kind of check that out. But because of that, I don't need this. I don't need this. So this gives me a little bit more space in my pocket. This is the Horween Natural Dublin leather logo. This is tiger thread used to stitch this in here. It holds a lot of cards. You can hold probably 10 cards, 5 and 5, even 6 and 6 cards if you wanted to do that. And then there's a spot for cash in here, and then behind the journal I keep stamps, and then even behind here it creates a divider. You can put more receipts and other stuff in here, so it really has like 1, 2, 3 really large deep pockets, and then of course your card pockets as well. I carry this all the time because I'm not going to show you my notes. I have a lot of notes in here on the go, things I think of things. I put it in here. My memory's terrible, so there you have it. I use this every single day. This goes with me everywhere, and so do these little Fisher Space Pens. What else? Stay. Okay. This is the CSB personal size, and this is the very first Bible I ever rebound. This has a full yap on it, and goat skin edge-lined Bible. This is a 7.5 point font. And I'll show you here in just a second when I'm not taking, if I'm going someplace but I want to carry a few things, I don't want my bag, I'll show you what I carry. But this is a personal size Bible. If this still actually, believe it or not, will fit in my back pocket. But anyhow, that's another Bible that I use often. Stack it over here with these. And then my journal, I have a laptop. I use a laptop. You don't want to see that, but so I'll write all my sermons and do everything on my laptop with my business and so on. But this journal here is a journal I use every day. And this is, what leather is this? This is the Student Journal. But this one is a new edition that it has these pockets here. So I created normally the journals have just a pocket that's stitched all the way around and you can slide stuff in. This one, I like the magazine. I personally like this. I might switch all of them to this, I don't know. But anyhow, this student journal in the English tan harvest leather, I'm doing the pockets like this. And I'm doing a pocket on both sides just like this. And here's why, because if you have a tall piece of paper, like sometimes I go to the post office and I have a long envelope or something like that. You can put the envelope right here, close it, and it will stay in there just fine. But you can also put it here, and it will allow it to stick out of the journal some. So I like those pockets for that reason. I log all my customer information. I have a database in the website system that I use, but I still am old school. I'm not going to show you this, but I keep customer information in here, and I keep up with that as I go. The second notebook in my student journal is this notebook here, and this swaps out every so many weeks. Wednesday night at our church, we do our lesson with the adults is more of a discussional type lesson. So for example, I'm upside down. Knowing God, for example. Knowing God has some scripture, and then it has a bunch of questions to ask and discuss as a group. And so what I do is I create a slideshow up on the screens at church, and there's only like 10 to 15 or so of us on Wednesday. And so I put this up with these questions, and then we read the scripture, we consider what God's saying to us, we ask these questions, and we discuss. So it's not a sermon, I'm not just teaching, but it's conversational on Wednesday night. So the second thing I keep in my journal, customer information. I have this, and this swaps out depending on what lesson, but it all fits, they're all the same size, it fits in here perfectly. And this right here just was released in November of 2020, CSB Scripture Notebook. So I teach and preach from the CSB. It's the one I use the most. I love the CSB. And they came out with the Scripture Notebook. Now this one is Romans. I'll do a review on this a little bit later and release that, because CSB, they actually sent this to me for a review copy. But I have 1 Corinthians coming. And the reason why I have 1 Corinthians coming is because I am preaching on Sunday through 1 Corinthians. The next book that I switched to might be Romans, and that's why I had them send me the Romans notebook. But what's really cool about this, and my other one will come tomorrow, so I'll switch this out. I just put this in here to show you. But I'll have where I'm preaching 1 Corinthians, and I'm going to use this as a workbook. So I will be able to, as I go to each passage, I can scribble my notes in the margins, create an outline here, and I'm going to see how that works out. I've not done that yet. Anyway, so I have that notebook there, and then I have a catch-all notebook at the end. So sometimes I will use this to scribble everything. Sermon notes, sermon ideas if I'm out on the road and I'm thinking of stuff. Sometimes I'll write in here if I don't have my big portfolio with me. Sometimes I'll have ideas of what I'm wanting to create with leather, and if you're creating something new, sometimes if you ask me that you want me to create something new, and I may say no, it's because it takes a lot of work in design. You have to draw out, you've got to measure out, then you got to create template. It's a whole process, but sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll use this notebook to put those ideas in. So this is my notebook that I have every day, and of course my bag, I think I got everything out here. I've got fountain pens and everything else in this bag that I won't show you. But I do want to end with this. If I am my daily use, if I'm hitting the road, if I'm getting in my car, I don't want to take a bag. However, I do want to have my daily stuff with me. This is it. This is going to go. I'm not going to necessarily take my CSB verse by verse because it's large. So if I'm trying to minimize weight and things that I'm carrying, I'll take this. And here's why these things are important to me. Number one, my wallet. This rod's in my pocket until I sit down. If I sit down at a table at a restaurant or something, I'm recording on my phone. My phone will go on top of that, and that will go on the table somewhere off to the side. But otherwise, it stays in my pocket. So I'm going to have my wallet with my notebook. I'm going to have my pen in my pocket. I'm always going to have this with me. And then I have a Bible here. Fits easy in my car. There's little compartments. I can shove this in out of the way, no worries. This has a compartment in my car out of the way, no worries. This has a place in my car that I can travel without any kind of a bag. Now, I don't do this very often, especially anymore, but if I'm out at a restaurant, coffee shop, or whatever, or if I'm in the car waiting for my kids or my wife or whatever, and I have some time to kill while I'm out, this setup is perfect for me because I have the Bible, so I can go to 1 Corinthians wherever I'm at, and I always use these little tabs right here to mark where I'm at, so I can read and kind of go over my sermon. If you're a preacher or if you teach the Bible in any way, you know that you're always kind of working on the passage that the Lord's laid in your heart. So I have the full Bible in front of me, but I'm really excited about this right here because I will be able to use this scripture notebook with the book that I'm working through, and that will work out real nice for me. Now this just so happens to have a little pocket here where I always have this pen locked into place, and that works out real nice for me. I'm really curious what your everyday carry is. I would love to, if you want to show some pictures, if you want to go to my Facebook page, if you want to, I don't know if you can add those in YouTube. I don't think you can. But I'd love to hear what you carry every day in the comments below. I hope you guys have a good day. If you have any questions about the things that I carry every day, please feel free to ask those questions. Have a good day and God bless.